Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is the greatest battlefield you will ever face, and unless you learn to master it, it will master you. Every success story begins in the hidden chambers of the mind, long before it ever becomes a reality. The thoughts you permit, the emotions you dwell on, the beliefs you entertain, these are the architects of your destiny. If you walk through life without guarding your mind, the world will shape you into something you were never meant to be. It will feed you fear when you need courage, doubt when you need faith, and comfort when you need discipline. There is a war being waged every day between the part of you that wants to rise and the part that wants to rest. And that war is not fought outside in the world, it is fought in silence within the four walls of your mind. The man who learns to guard his thoughts as a soldier guards his post will always have the upper hand, because the moment you allow weakness, distraction, or negativity to take root, it multiplies like a disease. One negative thought is enough to poison 100 dreams. One moment of mental laziness can undo years of progress. The champions of the world in business, in sports, and life all share a single secret. They have learned to control what they focus on. They have trained their minds with relentless precision. They do not wait to feel motivated. They do not beg for inspiration. They condition their thoughts daily like a warrior sharpening a blade. They understand that their outer world is only a reflection of their inner one. And if they do not rule their mind, they will be ruled by the noise of the world. This is why focus is not optional, it is vital. The world will try to seduce you with distractions. It will beg you to look left and right, to watch others, to compare, to gossip, to doubt. But you must become ruthless in protecting your mental real estate. You must be willing to walk alone, to stay silent, to guard your energy with fierce intention, because every time you get distracted by what someone else is doing, you delay what you are becoming. And in that delay, dreams die. To focus on yourself is to honor the purpose you were born with. It is to choose growth over approval, discipline over comfort, destiny over distraction. Every great change begins with a thought, and every downfall begins with a moment of mental weakness. So, train your thoughts, discipline your focus, and guard your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. You owe no one an explanation for your growth. The journey of self-evolution is deeply personal, often misunderstood, and rarely applauded in the beginning. The moment you decide to rise, you will disrupt the comfort of others who have chosen to remain the same. And when that happens, be ready, because people will question you, mock your discipline, misunderstand your silence, and resist your transformation. But that is not your concern. You do not need their validation to become who you were meant to be. Growth is a silent revolution. It begins with a shift in thinking, a change in habits, and a refusal to live by the standards set by the mediocre. But as you ascend, you will find that your old circle might not recognize you anymore. You'll speak differently, walk differently, choose differently, and they will feel threatened by that. Not because you've wronged them, but because your light exposes their shadow. Your focus reminds them of their distractions. Your discipline reveals their excuses. That is the price of becoming better, and you must be willing to pay it in full. Too many people never reach their potential because they fear disapproval more than they desire growth. They stay small to fit in. They hold back to remain accepted. But what they forget is that the people who try to hold you back are often doing so from the prison of their own limitations. And if you wait for their permission, you will remain trapped. Greatness demands that you walk away from what no longer serves your purpose, even if it's familiar, even if it's comfortable, even if it's applauded by others. You must make peace with being misunderstood. You must develop the inner strength to continue forward without clapping hands or cheering crowds. Your growth will feel lonely at times, but that loneliness is not a curse. It is a sign that you are shifting, that your old environment can no longer hold the new version of you, that the soil you once called home is no longer fertile for your future. Do not apologize for outgrowing people, places, and patterns. They were only meant to serve you for a season. The truth is, people don't need to understand your path. They weren't given your vision. They weren't handed your dreams. They don't carry your fire. So how can they be expected to understand your hunger? You were not born to live according to the expectations of others. You were born to fulfill a calling that only you can hear. And when that calling gets louder, your loyalty must shift from pleasing others to becoming the best version of yourself. Stand firm in your decisions. Hold your head high when they question your silence, your ambition, your detachment. You do not owe an explanation. Growth is not selfish, it is sacred. And those who truly belong in your life will grow with you or respectfully step aside. Every second you spend watching others is a second lost on yourself. In a world that thrives on comparison and noise, it is far too easy to become consumed with someone else's progress while your own potential sits idle. The scroll of a screen, the highlight reel of another's life, the endless updates of what others are doing, these are the distractions that rob you of the present moment, the moment where your future is built. Success is never found in spectating, it is only found in execution. And the man who forgets that truth will find himself clapping for others while silently burying his own dreams. The desire to look outward comes from a place of doubt. Deep inside, when belief is weak, the mind looks for proof in others. It watches, it compares, it judges, it asks, am I behind or why not me? But the truth is, no one else's path has anything to do with your own. Their timeline is not your blueprint. Their success is not your delay. And the more energy you pour into observing, the less energy you have left for building. You cannot win the race of life while watching others run. You must fix your eyes forward and sprint with every ounce of your being. Winners know this. They do not waste precious time or mental strength on comparison. They understand that energy is currency, and wherever they spend it, results will follow. If you spend it on envy, you get bitterness. If you spend it on gossip, you get distraction. But if you invest it in self-improvement, in action, in growth, you get transformation. That is the secret. The most powerful people in the world are not watching while others refresh pages and wonder what's next. They are creating, moving, building the life they envision. The truth is, most people would rather be distracted by the success of others than face the uncomfortable silence of their own underperformance. They'll point fingers, create stories, find excuses, and waste years in observation. But the clock does not care. Time continues to move, and every second you delay is one you cannot reclaim. There are no awards for being a spectator, no trophies for watching from the sideline. The world only remembers those who stepped onto the field, got dirty, and played the game with everything they had. So if you want to win, eliminate the need to watch. Replace comparison with commitment. Let the progress of others inspire you, but never distract you. Your destiny does not lie on their path. It lies buried in your discipline, your focus, your grind. Dig it out with your own hands. Do not be swayed by illusions. Do not lose your life trying to mimic someone else's. The only person you should be watching is the version of you that you have yet to become. Focus on that and you will never lose. Obsession is the price of transformation. Until your desire to become greater consumes you, change will only be a wish, not a reality. The man who achieves anything remarkable in life does not casually want it. He breathes it, bleeds for it, and burns for it. He sacrifices distractions, walks away from comfort, and embraces the solitude that comes with a relentless focus. There is no in-between. You're either all in or you're just playing games with your own potential. True transformation demands everything. It will ask for your evenings, your weekends, your sleep, your excuses, and in return, it will give you the life you were born to live. People fear obsession because they've been taught to settle for balance. But greatness is not born from balance, it's forged in fire. It's created in those moments when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, and when no one understands why you keep going. Obsession is what keeps you pushing when motivation fades. It's the voice inside that says, keep going, when logic tells you to quit. It's the hunger that wakes you up in the morning and keeps your heart beating with purpose, even when your body is exhausted. Those who reach the highest levels are not driven by convenience, they are possessed by vision. They don't count the hours, they make the hours count. They don't care how long it takes because their obsession blinds them to the clock. They're not seeking approval, applause, or validation. They're chasing something deeper, something sacred, something they can feel burning in their bones. And that fire becomes their fuel. It becomes their identity. It becomes who they are. The world often mislabels obsession as madness. But what the world calls crazy, the successful call necessary. Because the truth is, without obsession, discipline fades. Without obsession, focus slips. Without obsession, the distractions of life win. You can't casually change your life. You can't half-heartedly rewrite your story. Transformation is a full-time pursuit. It demands that you let go of the old version of yourself and dive headfirst into the unknown. That's not easy. It's painful. It's isolating. But it's the only path to real power. And here's the secret. Obsession doesn't just change what you do. It changes who you are. It molds your thoughts, sharpens your vision, and hardens your resolve. It separates you from the average and places you in a league of your own. When you become obsessed with growth, with discipline, with purpose, you begin to move differently. You walk with conviction. You act with urgency. You live with intensity. And eventually the world takes notice, not because you asked it to, but because you left it no choice. So if you want to transform, stop apologizing for being intense. Stop dialing yourself down to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect mood. Lock in, tune out the noise, and let your obsession lead the way. That's how the extraordinary is built. Distractions are destroyers dressed as entertainment. They come disguised as harmless pleasures, short breaks, or well-deserved rewards. But they rob you of focus, steal your time, and weaken your discipline. You tell yourself, just 5 minutes, but 5 becomes 50. You say, I'll get back to work, but the rhythm is broken, the momentum is gone, and the fire that was burning starts to dim. Distractions don't just slow you down, they sabotage your future by seducing you into comfort. And the most dangerous part, they feel good while they do it. The man who wants to win must learn to see through the disguise. He must train his mind to recognize that every wasted moment compounds into wasted days, and every wasted day delays the life he claims to want. Success does not come to those who dabble. It comes to those who are ruthless about their time. The difference between winners and watchers is simple. One protects his attention like a king protects his throne. The other gives it away to every shiny thing that passes by. If you want to build something that lasts, you cannot live like the majority. You must become uncomfortable with ease and allergic to distractions. It's not enough to say you want it. You must show it in how you manage your minutes. Every time you scroll, every time you check, every time you respond to something that adds no value to your mission, you give away your power. And power, once given away casually, is hard to reclaim. You must declare war on the things that interrupt your focus, no matter how small they seem. Because in the game of achievement, it is not just laziness that destroys, it is the constant little interruptions that chip away at greatness. The world today is designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. It wants you distracted. It profits when you're not focused. Every app, every alert, every notification is a trap. And if you don't build a system to protect your mind, you will live your life reacting instead of creating. You will become a consumer instead of a builder, and the saddest part is you won't even realize what you're losing until it's too late. Discipline is built in the moments when you choose silence over noise, solitude over distraction, and progress over pleasure. If you want to rise above, you must begin to measure your distractions in terms of the dreams they're delaying. Ask yourself, is this worth my goal? If the answer is no, cut it off, eliminate it, starve it, because your destiny depends on your ability to stay locked in while the world tries to pull you apart. Stay focused, stay obsessed, treat every moment as a brick in the structure of your legacy. That's how champions are built, one undistracted moment at a time. The world only respects results, so give them no choice. In silence you prepare. In isolation you train, and in obscurity you build what no one sees coming. But understand this, talk is cheap, potential means nothing without proof, and intentions are invisible to those who measure only by outcomes. If you want to be heard, if you want to be known, if you want to be respected, then win. Win so undeniably that they have no option but to take notice. Make your results so loud that the world has to listen, even if they once ignored your voice. People are not inspired by what you say you'll do. They're inspired by what you do consistently, by the standard you hold when no one is watching, by the excellence you deliver again and again. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. One talks, the other executes, and execution is what separates the forgotten from the legendary. You don't need to scream your vision from the rooftops. You need to live it with such intensity that your actions speak volumes louder than your words ever could. In a world full of noise and empty promises, results are the only language everyone understands. They do not care how hard your journey was. They care what you've created with it. They don't care how many times you almost quit. They care that you didn't. And they don't care what you've been through. They care what you've built in spite of it. The harsh truth is that the world respects output. It respects outcomes. It respects the man who turns his pain into productivity and his potential into performance. You will be judged by your fruit, not your seed. So let your results grow loud enough to silence every doubt, every critic, every person who didn't believe in you. Let them see your success and wonder how you did it. And let them never realize it was built in the dark, brick by brick, while they laughed, doubted, or looked away. You don't owe anyone explanations. You owe yourself excellence. Every single day you must ask yourself, am I building proof, not proof for others, proof for yourself? Because when your results are undeniable, the need to explain disappears. Those who focus only on appearing successful waste time curating an image. Those who focus on becoming successful build something real. Choose reality over illusion. Choose mastery over popularity. When you become so good they can't ignore you, when you produce results that shift the room, when your work carries weight, then you won't need to ask for a seat at the table. The table will come to you. Respect is not something you beg for, something you earn through discipline, through sacrifice, through results. So build, improve, deliver, and never stop until your results make your presence impossible to overlook. Remember, the journey to victory is never about seeking permission or applause. It's about unwavering focus on yourself until you claim what's rightfully yours. When you guard your mind, silence the noise, refuse distractions, and obsess over your growth, you create a force so unstoppable that success becomes inevitable. So turn your back on the doubters, the distractions, and the delays. Focus on you, commit fully, and keep moving forward until you win. Because the only way to lose is to stop trying, and you were never made to lose.